want to put in some sort of perspective about the recent happenings in Forestdale in relation to crime or perceived crime. If you ask some people, they would probably tell you that we seem to be having crime all the time. If you then pin them down and say, well, does it happen every second or every minute? They say, oh, no, but it's probably most of the time. Okay, I like to give some sort of perspective of what really happens. So, for example, if asked a person how often they work, they'd probably say, well, I spend most of my time working. Well, let's show you an example that shows how most of the time isn't done working. Percentage of paid for work time of total time. First of all, in per working year time. So assuming a person works 38 hours per week for 46 weeks, and then 52 weeks less 4 weeks annual leave and 2 weeks holiday, that equates, so that's down to the 46, that's down to 1,748 hours. You divide 365 times 24 equals 8,760 hours. So of the total hours in a year, that gives 20% of the time is actually working. Far less than what most people think. If you take awake time rather than total time, so of awake hours, it's 365 days times 16 hours gives 5,840 hours. That still only gives 30%. But then if you look at what's actually paid time, so if you take the average life expectancy in Australia was 82.75 years in 2018. So that equates to, for 82 years times 24 hours a day, gives you 724,890 hours. So assuming a working career of 45 years, that's from the age of 20 through to 65, using the above annual working paid hours at 1,748, that equates to a paid working life of 78,660 hours, which is only 11% of total life hours. So a summary of that is, the average fully employed person in Australia only gets paid or only works and gets paid for 11% of their time. That means 89% of the time is not paid for. If you ask somebody how often they work, they probably say the majority of how often they get paid work, they probably say the majority of the time. It's only 11% of the time, just to give you some sort of a perspective. Considering what you've just heard, how much time do you think is spent by criminals actually stealing things or even annoying people for that matter in Forestdale? I don't know. I could work it out. I could calculate a figure. And I've actually done that, but it comes up so infinitely small that it's hard to actually show on this video. But the basic thing is far less than 1% of even awake hours time is probably spent by criminals performing crime of stealing in Forestdale. So there exists reality and what is perceived. Quite often what is perceived has got nothing to do with reality. And you've got to put everything into some sort of perspective. A good thing about Forestdale is we have a lot of community activities. Well, actually not a lot. Based on the overall time, a very, very small proportion of people's time is taken up with community activities. Here's an example of one of them that was held reasonably recently. So I'll leave you with this and also leave you with a bit of music at the end with a view an aerial view of Forestdale.